let's talk about how to completely change your relationship with the food you eat and the foods that are part of your life. This is what we're talking about today. I am so glad you are here. My name is Tanessa Shears. I'm a weight loss coach for women, and I help them lose the mental weight as well as the physical weight, because it's a lot more than about the foods that you eat and the exercises you do. It's about how you're able to think about yourself and fundamentally create a lifestyle, because it all starts with changing how we think about things. So we're going to be talking today about how to change your relationship with food. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've had a couple conversations with clients this week, that a lot of the times that's what inspires these conversations with you, because when I'm hearing these things from my clients, it means that they matter and that they're things that we're all working through. So that's why I want to share with you some tips today, and hopefully you can have a shift in your perspective on how you view your relationship with food. So a lot of the times when my clients come to me, they tell me that they have a bad relationship with food. And they're usually describing that as, I find I get really obsessed about the types of foods I eat, or the calories I eat, or how much I eat, or I eat too much sugar, and I emotionally eat, and I eat because I'm sad, or I eat because I'm stressed out, or I overeat. And we define this bad relationship with food as when we eat food in a way that doesn't serve us, when we eat food in a way that makes us bloated or sick or gain weight or have joint pains or headaches, or that move us further away from our goals. And this relationship with food is uncomfortable, because talking about it makes us uncomfortable, working on it makes us uncomfortable. We feel like we have this preoccupation where all we think about is food and what we're eating and what it does and what it's going to affect our weight. And our whole relationship with food looks like that. And that's a lot of the time with what we show up as. It's this weird preoccupation where it's almost obsessive and it's not comfortable. And that's what we want. And oftentimes when I talk to clients, they're just like, I want a better relationship with food. I want to have a good relationship with food. And I love to ask, like, what does that look like? What does this good relationship with food look like? And they're like, oh, when I can have control, and when I go out on the weekends, I don't overdo it, and I don't have too many drinks, and I don't order that extra piece of cake, and I don't end up, stopping at McDonald's on the way home, and I'm able to just eat the food without the guilt trip and the blame and the shame that comes after overeating, or eating off plan, or eating something that doesn't move you towards your goals. We think that that good relationship with food means that we don't stress about it. We don't spend time obsessing or thinking about what it means that we ate this or ate that. We're just able to enjoy our life and the food in it. So we've defined what we think a good relationship and a bad relationship with food is. But this is a concept I love to teach, and I did Google this right before I popped on. A relationship is the way in which two or more people or things regard and behave towards each other. So now here's where my unique perspective might completely change your mind on this. If we're thinking of a relationship as the way two or more things or people regard or behave towards each other, I want you to think about this. Food doesn't care about you. Food doesn't show up to help you feel better. Food does not show up to comfort you when you're sad. Food does not stand there and make sure that you are getting what you need out of a relationship. It's not a two-way street. And the way we like to think about food is as if it's a reciprocal relationship, meaning, oh, I give to food and food gives back to me. Food gives comfort and food gives all of these things. And here's what I'm finding. A lot of the times when I have clients that come to me and they're like, I want a better relationship with food, the problem isn't actually the relationship with food, because food doesn't care about you. Food doesn't have any feelings about you. Food is not your friend, all right? It doesn't care. What we're doing is we are delegating all of our emotional responsibility to food. So we think things like, we give food the job to entertain us. We give food the job to make us feel better. We give food the job to comfort us when we're emotional. We give food all of these jobs and then blame food when we feel bad. Oh, it must be something to do with the foods I'm eating. I'm addicted to these foods. I can't stop these foods. We get into this weird mind concept because what we've done essentially is given all of our emotional responsibility around food to food. And then we say we're in this bad relationship with food, when what is actually the fact of it is we don't have a relationship with food. So you cannot change what does not exist. We're often in search of having this great relationship with food, but here's the thing. Food job is to fuel your body for life. Your food's only job is to provide the nutrients, the energy, the vitamins, and the calories so that you can get up and go to work in the morning, so you can go to the gym, so that you can be with the people you love. So I really want you to think about that. What if you weren't in a relationship with food at all, and food's only job was to fuel you and to give you what you need to survive? And then we took back the responsibility to entertain ourselves, to comfort ourselves, to feel good, to seek out pleasure. What if that was our responsibility? Because as soon as you delegate all of that to food, you're never going to find it, because food will never give that to you, because it can't. Its job is just to be there to go in your mouth so that you are well fed. So we start to take back that responsibility. And I want you to think about this. We don't have a relationship with water. Like, you don't go, oh, well, water comforts me, or, I want to have a better relationship with water. I'm really uncomfortable with how my brain works around water. Or like air. Oh, I'm so uncomfortable with air and how I overdo it with breathing on the weekend. And when I exercise, I breathe way too much. Like, we don't do that, because you can't have a relationship with something that is not reciprocal. It's like being in a human relationship with someone who doesn't know you exist. There is no relationship there. So what we need to do is start defining that as food's job is fuel, and it is my job to make sure that my life is better than food. My life has more in it. It is more entertaining. It is more comforting. It is more pleasurable. It is more rewarding. Because if we're always looking to see those feelings inside of food, we are never going to find it. So what we're actually talking about when we say, I really want a better relationship with food, it's not food, because you can't have a relationship with food. What we're really talking about is wanting to have a better relationship with ourselves when we think about food. So, I have been talking with clients that, have been having some trouble staying on their plans, just because there's things in life that are coming up, and they're stressing out, and they're finding that they're doubting themselves. And instead of saying, oh, it's so hard, food is so alluring, what if instead it had more to do with your relationship with yourself when it came to food? So what if, for example, you were talking about your relationship with yourself and sleep, and you knew that you had to sleep at night, and you knew that when 10 o'clock comes, that's bedtime, you put yourself to sleep. There's no drama about that. You made a decision that you're going to go to sleep at night, and you're going to wake up the next morning, and it's a simple decision. There's no drama about it. There's no chatter. You just go to sleep. But when it comes to food, and we say, you know what, I'm going to go this weekend, and I'm not going to indulge in processed foods because that's not in alignment with my goals. What if your decision was just that simple, and you didn't do all the drama about it and question yourself? Because that relationship with ourself gets damaged is when we don't stick to our decisions, and then instead of just understanding like, that wasn't a great decision, what can I do better next time, we guilt ourselves, we shame ourselves, we make ourselves feel bad, we beat ourselves up, we tell ourselves we're not worthy, we're not good enough, I could do better than this, what's wrong with me, I'm never gonna get this, nothing ever works for me, I've never been able to lose this weight. We do this, and then not only that, we don't just do it and get over it, we do it for days and days and days, and that one overeat is now spiraled into 3 days of eating, and you're just like, screw it, I will start on Monday. So it's not anything to do with your relationship with food, it's your relationship with yourself and food as the subject of your relationship. So I want you to think about this. If you knew 100% that you would stick to every decision you made around food, like when you said, I'm eating this, this, and this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner today, and then on the weekend, this is how I'm gonna eat. If you just stuck to all your decisions and you knew that you could stand in your decisions, make strong decisions, count on yourself, you wouldn't have this problem with food that you're perceiving as a bad relationship. And what would happen is when you stick to all those decisions, you improve your relationship with yourself. You know you can count on yourself to make strong decisions around food and get you the results you want. It's not anything to do with a relationship with food. Food's job is to fuel you. The drama that we're having about food is because of your relationship with yourself. So if you can learn to make strong decisions, follow through on them, then the whole thing becomes you just need to work on that relationship with yourself. And that comes from learning how to trust yourself. That comes from learning how to say what you're going to do and stand by it and mean it. You are going to follow through no matter what, because your commitment to yourself is the most important word you can ever give to anyone. So that's what I'm going to challenge you. If you are wondering, like, I just have a really uncomfortable relationship with food, I'm preoccupied with calories and what food I can eat, and I never do it right. It's that relationship with yourself. Let food's only job be to fuel you. Its job is not to bond with your friends, comfort you, give you pleasure, make you feel better. Take that job back and take that on yourself. Where can you find pleasure and joy and comfort in your life right now so that food doesn't take that responsibility? I'm going to give you a little hint of how I do it. If you follow me over on Instagram, you'll notice most mornings I share a little bit of my morning routine. I usually get up at 6 and I go to the gym, and then I come home, I get ready, and I read for an hour every morning. I get my pleasure and my reward from that, from feeling good in the morning, from following a routine, from reading something that sparks my inspiration. Then I don't go looking to food to make me feel good about my life. I take on the responsibility of my emotional well-being so that food doesn't do that. And that is how you have a non-relationship with food and a good relationship with yourself. So I really hope that has been inspiring. And if this content is stuff that you're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need to work on, that's what I work on one-on-one with my clients. And if this is something that is like, yes, I want to know more, let's sit down, have a one-on-one talk about what working together will do for you and help you drop not only your physical weight, but your mental weight, so that you can feel good about your choices, and that I can teach you how to stand strong in the decisions you make so we can rebuild that relationship with yourself, because weight comes off really quick when you rebuild that first. So if that's interest to you, just send me a message and we'll just set something up and chat. So otherwise, have a absolutely beautiful week. Work on that relationship with yourself and just let food be there for fuel. It doesn't need to be entertaining or delicious or joy. It's just there to fuel you. Have a good one.